we came back because the cat was going nuts.
Yeah, so we just restarted the whole thing.
So, welcome to Grandma's room, I guess.
Yeah, this is episode 2. Well, we tried the second one, but
it was a failure.
Didn't go as planned.
It was bad.
Yeah.
Just didn't sound great. So, today, Skinwalkers.
The Navajo legend.
All up in ya.
Well, as we're going to learn, they can get all up in you. Especially when you're dead. We'll get to that. So in Navajo culture, there's an evil witch called a skinwalker, and it can turn into and possess animals, including humans. And not only have the people of the Navajo tribe claimed to have experiences with this entity, but there are still sightings to this day across America. Not as popular on this side, on the East Coast. It's mainly like
Arizona,
Southwest, yeah.
New Mexico.
So
Mexico land. What?
Is that racist?
No.
Okay.
If it is, well, if someone thinks it is,
yeah. We're not racist.
Don't listen.
Yeah. We're good boys.
Navajo culture, they call it the Ye Nald Lashai.
The yeehaw?
Meaning with it goes on all fours.
Known as the Yeehaw Man.
The Navajos believe the Skinwalker was not a supernatural being. It was just a person that became a witch. So they believe that you can still kill a Skinwalker because they're still human. And basically, in order to become a Skinwalker, they have to commit a whole bunch of horrific offenses that are god-awful.
Like what? Here's some examples.
You have to either kill a close relative. Well, no, you do have to kill a close relative. There's no choice. You have to kill a close relative, and then you have to commit necrophilia. And you also have to rape them before.
Wait, so you have to rape, kill, and then rape the dead body?
Yeah.
Oh.
Rape, kill, and plunder again.
Yes.
Yeah, so, as we said earlier, they can get all up in you.
They can get, and they will get all up in you.
Well, yeah, they still commit the necrophilia once they're skinwalkers, apparently.
Oh, that's an ongoing thing?
Yeah.
What, do they just
and it
save
happens
the body
in
for
caves.
later?
Yeah. What?
It happens in caves. So this is where it ties into the last podcast. But I don't think that anyone was raped in that last story.
They just told him shit on paper.
Yeah. I mean, in a way, that's weird.
It's not rape, though.
No, but it's like getting somewhere.
But look, do they look just like the people? Like, do skinwalkers look just like people?
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Here's the other thing, too.
Does that grandma look just like his grandma?
Yeah, I'll explain that, too, when we get there. That's another thing with skinwalkers. So skinwalkers are believed to be able to possess a lot of animals that are in America. The most common ones that they are claimed to be seen as are coyotes, wolves, deer, cougar, dogs, and bears.
I want to see a monkey skinwalker.
That'd be weird. That'd be whack.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what Bigfoot is.
There's like just the ape. He's the ape
A
skinwalker.
7-foot ape skinwalker.
The one ape in
Ape
America.
walker.
Ape walker. So they can. It's also said that they can escape danger by shape-shifting into these animals. So, like, say, they're getting chased and they're being hunted by hunters and they're a deer, they can transform into like a bear. And this, like, as they're moving, so it's claimed that
They can go from like deer to bear.
Mm-hmm. It's claimed that in Navajo, like, some of their stories involved like chasing deer for hunting, and then they would just morph into something else, and then it would eventually be a hawk and just fly away.
Yeah.
So,
That actually sounds like haunting.
yeah.
That'd be horrifying to see.
And in Navajo culture, they would not leave their village alone, like, or their tribe. They wouldn't leave alone at night or during the day. They had to be in pairs because they were so terrified of skinwalkers.
Like a buddy system?
Yeah.
So it was like a constant fear for them.
Yeah, so you'd think that they had to have saw something. Like, there had to be some validity to it.
Or, like,
you know.
Would they tell, like, ghost stories or shit to them, like, when they're little? Just, like, kind of scare them straight?
Probably. Maybe.
I heard they don't even like saying the word skinwalker because they think
Yeah,
that you
because
bring them to
the
them.
more you say Skinwalker, it just attracts them to you.
Skinwalker, Skinwalker,
Then
Skinwalker.
we should have seen one by now,
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've talked about it a lot.
but
Maybe we should go in the woods
but
when
we're
we
not
camp.
Navajo. Does it matter if you're Navajo or not? If you say it, is it like
Um,
if you're in the tribe? Like, is that when it's a danger to you?
I mean, we're
I've-
kind of Indian.
Well, you're not Navajo though.
Yeah, but
We're white, Ben.
What are you, like 5%?
No, not even.
yeah.
Oh, yeah. then
That's like
you're
Elizabeth
good.
Warren saying she's Indian.
You're out of the danger zone. I think.
You're certainly not in any danger.
I get it.
Yeah. So back to the, oftentimes you had to kill a mother, father, or sibling, to become them. I already said that. And then, if all these acts are pleased, including cannibalism,
If they're what?
you have to do cannibalism too. So if all these acts that are pleased, by like whoever, like the evil society
Oh,
of Skinwalkers.
Okay.
So you want to become them, so you have to do all these acts, including cannibalism and robbing graves too is one of the things.
Wait, so like, how was there like a whole council of them? If like one person started it, was it just like a trend? Like, oh, Jason from next door became a Skinwalker. Maybe we should too, darling.
Very well be. Oh, I'll get.
Like they kill their children and then they're Skinwalkers.
I
It's
mean, that
'cause-
happens more than you think, Ben.
It's because the Navajo were like terrified of death because they believe there's only a hell, like an underworld.
Oh.
So they knew when they died that that's what they had to deal with for eternity. So sometimes that would turn people to become Skinwalkers.
Why should they just be here forever instead of?
Yeah, well, they
stay
could be
when
here
go
as
to hell?
long as they
Unless,
possibly could.
unless they got killed.
Mhm.
So if you don't get killed by somebody, you're like
You can live forever.
immortal.
Yeah, so there could be ones that are like hundreds of years old,
Nicolas Cage.
maybe.
Wait, so like, does the person they really are? You said they can change from like animals to people, right?
Mhm.
Is the person they are like when they first became a Skinwalker? Is that how old they'll be forever? Like they'll look like they're 20, but they're like 300 years old.
Yeah, I think.
What's that? What if that's how time travel works?
Okay.
Oh,
I have another question. Humans are technically animals.
Mhm.
Does that mean they could change races too?
oh shit. Maybe.
Like they could just turn white whenever?
Michael Jackson.
He might have been.
Michael Jackson was a Skinwalker.
You should put that like on a shirt.
Yeah. Michael Jackson and the Skinwalkers.
That explains why he diddled little boys.
Oh.
Oh my god.
Except not all of them are
But he didn't
dead.
kill anyone.
Yeah.
That you know of.
Yeah.
Well, he held that kid over a balcony, didn't he?
Yeah.
Like
What?
almost killed him.
Was
Yeah,
it
he
over a
held-
balcony or the side of a ship? I heard it was.
I have
I
never.
think it was over like a balcony of a street. Like he held some kid
It was
over
his,
a balcony.
I think it was his kid.
When the fuck
Yeah.
did this happen?
He was like dangling him.
Yeah, like maybe.
Oh,
in the
his kid.
90s.
Was it his kid?
I think it was
yeah.
like Blanket or something.
I think I remember hearing about this actually.
Who names a kid Blanket anyway?
Blanket was his
Yeah.
name?
Yeah, his
Blanket
kid-
Jackson.
his kid name was
Or
Blanket.
Jackson. What?
Blanket Jackson.
It's hard to say.
I had no
Blanket Jackson.
It's like naming your kid Binky.
Binky. Or Ben.
Yeah.
His face. Okay, so anyways.
So, if all of these acts were pleased, then you would be welcomed into like their weird cave societies where you'd be able to go into these caves. And in these caves is where all the Skinwalkers believe to congregate. So that's where you would live. And then at night or during the day, they're more commonly seen at night, I guess. But they go out and they like wreak havoc. They have havoc.
Wait, so are there Skinwalker hymns? Like, do they sing Skinwalker songs in their congregation?
Don't know.
Something to look into.
Yeah.
Let's make one.
Yeah. Anyways, they have to keep killing or causing harm in order to stay a Skinwalker.
And what happens if they don't? They just lose all that power.
They'll just die.
Oh, they die.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
So, well, in a way, because they lose their Skinwalker power, so then they become mortal again.
Oh, so
And-
so eventually, it causes them to die.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, in a basic way.
Yeah, I like it.
So, and apparently one way to spot a skinwalker is if you're looking at an animal and it seems like it has human eyes, like my dog.
Yeah, like Sydney.
Yeah.
Like my dog. Both of our dogs.
Yeah. Then you have to also they walk a little bit weird too. Apparently, like they don't walk quite like a normal animal.
I heard some people see them walking across the road. They said it looks stilted the way they walk. Like it actually sounds more horrifying
I
than
know.
the animal itself.
I know.
Seeing something walk like that.
Yeah, so if you look into its eyes and it looks like human eyes, that's a bad sign. Also, if you're looking at a human and it looks like it has animal eyes, that's a bad sign too, because that's one way that they always look. Even if they're in human form,
So
their eyes look weird.
always look weird.
Like
Yeah,
cat
they always
eyes,
look
sort of?
off. What?
Like how cat eyes are kind of fucked up.
Kinda. But like I think
Like
it's
if
just,
you had cat eyes, we would notice.
yeah.
Then you know Ben was a skinwalker.
Yeah. Maybe that's why people get eye tattoos. Be a little more edgy.
Yeah.
Did you hear about that guy that went blind from that?
That's not a surprise. I don't get it.
I mean, how could you think it's a good idea?
I don't know. Getting ink injected into your eye.
Yeah, right into the white part. There we go. Most sensitive part in your body. Besides your,
What? Your weenus?
Yeah, I was getting there.
Your wiener.
Or your bunghole.
I have a tattoo though.
Really? What is it?
Butterfly wings, isn't
It says parking.
it? Free parking.
Oh yeah, right here is where I said that I was gonna say that it kind of sounds like the story for the missing 411, and this is why. Because whenever you see a skinwalker, you're supposed to try to not lock eyes with it, like not look at it very long.
Mm-hmm.
You know how that lady says she was camping and she was laying in her tent and she saw eyes
Yeah.
out in the distance and she was like looking at them,
Mm-hmm.
and then if you look at them, they get your soul. So what if that happened? What if she locked eyes?
Oh, and
they
she
got
lost all
soul?
her creativity and everything after
Yeah.
she.
And
after
also, if you have an experience with a skinwalker, it said you get violently sick.
they were both sick the next morning.
Yeah, you get violently sick, and then you lose memory of certain.
She didn't know why she was out of her sleeping bag.
Yep.
Dude.
So that's why
That was
tied
by
that
Mount
into-
Shasta, so that's on the west coast too.
Mhm.
Oh,
That's why I
fuck.
tied that into that kind of thing.
That does sound like it.
Yeah, and then the grandchild, whoever didn't listen to the last podcast,
John Doe's was the name.
John Doe. Yeah.
Yeah.
The kid apparently was in the woods and he got abducted by someone named Cappy, who was his grandma's. Right.
It looked like his grandma, but it wasn't his grandma. It was like
Yeah.
he just
So
went missing.
it could have very well been a skinwalker that stole
Do they kidnap
the
people?
identity. No, like took the identity.
Oh,
'Cause
okay. I
Once
see.
you lock eyes with it, it can morph into looking like you.
And he said there was something off about her. He said there's a light coming out of her head. He said that he saw like light coming from her head.
Yeah. So I don't know what that would have been, but
There could also be stuff that you don't know
mhm.
about skinwalkers.
And then the thing how she took him to a cave apparently as well.
And there was guns and purses and bags and stuff littered around the floor.
Yeah, so maybe that's like stuff they take from people that they do kill.
Oh shit.
But humanoid robots, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know, but
Yeah.
there's humanoid robots apparently that were just not moving. That could have been anything though, because if he was like out of it,
Mhm.
who knows what he actually saw?
Yeah,
It could have been other people
that's true.
or skinwalkers that I don't know.
Yeah. Could have been other skinwalkers and he was just too young to comprehend them. Yeah, that's why they look weird.
Mm-hmm.
But so apparently now if you experience a skinwalker, these are present day signs of one. They make distinct noises before they attack you. And it mainly happens in like if you live in a cabin in the woods, sort of like that sort of thing where you're secluded from society. It'll be scraping on the roof, banging on the walls, tapping on the glass.
That kind of reminds me of a story
We'll
that
see.
happened here a couple years ago
Oh yeah,
with a couple black-eyed children.
yeah, I do recall. That was great. I was home alone, and these knuckle brains decide to decide to come out here and start pounding on my windows at night after we were talking about black-eyed children. And at the time, I was like 16, so yeah,
Forgot about that. Was so funny.
Yeah.
That was amazing.
I don't even think
Dude.
I texted you. I was just like, I literally, I heard the tapping. I sat up in bed. I was like, am I going to go look what that is? And then I heard tapping again, and I was like, no.
I remember we waited a few minutes, and then I started like pounding on the house.
Oh, yeah,
like,
that scared the shit out of me. And I was like, there's no way I'm getting up now. Like, I'm just locking my
you
door.
did. I remember you FaceTimed me, and you took a knife to the bathroom.
And you said,
Oh,
Remember that?
I had to piss
Yeah.
really bad, too, which sucked. I didn't want to get up.
my favorite thing that came out of that was, dude, you can bet your ass I'm not leaving till the fucking dawn.
I remember
was-
locking my bedroom door, closing the blinds, and then putting a pillow over my ears. Like, well, if they're out there, they're not getting in.
What about Sydney?
What?
What'd you do with Sydney?
He was in my room.
Oh, I was gonna say you just leave him out in the
He
house.
just, the thing that was freaking me out was he was going,
Oh, he's like growling.
yeah, like he wasn't barking like someone was standing outside. He was just growling like he sensed something, and I was like, nah. What if what if it wasn't you? Never mind.
What do you mean?
I need a Kleenex. Just fill them in on what black-eyed children are.
Okay, black-eyed children. Just this is like a complete side note. It has nothing to do with skinwalkers, but it's like there's stories of kids walking up to people's houses, and they'll be like pounding on the sides of the house and like windows and stuff, and like they'll be begging for people to let them in. And I heard stories about them doing it to people in cars too, but they can't come in unless you let them in. And for some reason, obviously they're off because they've nothing but black in their eyes. But there's stories of people after they let them in, they got really like sick with, it could be like cancer or other diseases, and it ends up killing them eventually. That's pretty much just like the quick overview of that.
Yeah. So that's why I was a little freaked out. You know, I don't like ghost children to begin with, so I don't like children to begin with. So
Yeah.
you know. Also, with the skinwalkers, back to the present day signs of a skinwalker attack. One of the other things is they tend to present themselves on roadways, hoping to cause an accident.
Oh yeah. What happens after you get into an accident? You can't drive away.
Oh God, it's there.
Yeah.
That's one of the
Whoa.
Saudi witch. If anyone's ever saw a Saudi witch video,
Just look it up on YouTube.
yeah. If not, I recommend watching
Like
it.
Saudi Arabia,
Crazy.
Saudi witch.
Yeah. What
It's-
if that's a skinwalker? That's what I picture kind of when I think of like.
I picture some like really fucked up looking animal.
Yeah, me too.
Like with like a human face, like and like messed up looking back legs.
Sort of like that video we made right here in the hallway. Remember when you put on the deer head?
We'll post that on the Instagram.
Yeah.
If you follow us on Instagram, we'll post that. That was. Wait, there's some guy that kept harassing us on Instagram about that.
Oh yeah, he was.
I didn't even know him. He didn't follow me or anything. He just came out of nowhere.
He's like, "How
like-
dare you disrespect the animal kingdom?" And then he had a whole bunch of pictures of bugs on his Instagram. So then we followed him. And we were like, "That's animal cruelty."
We're just
And he's
fucking
like,
with
"Shut the
them.
fuck up! That's bugs."
It was, I don't know. Some people are dumb.
Yeah, very.
Very.
That guy's one of them. If you're listening,
I bet he has a ton of toilet paper in his house right now.
yeah, he's one of those people. Easily, he belongs on the island.
We'll just keep that a secret.
Oh yeah, that's for a later date.
Maybe.
Maybe. It's a little controversial. Very, actually.
It's
Extremely, extremely controversial.
the island.
Well,
The factories.
yeah,
Let's just keep-
we can't talk about that. Let's
Okay,
move on.
let's
Let's
get
move
back to
along.
it.
Yeah, I already said this part that how they'd never venture into the woods alone. But they were kind of forced to do that. Well, they had the groups, but they were forced to move from where they were at in the 1800s.
Who?
The Navajos.
Okay.
When the U.S. Army forced the Navajos out of their native land, they had to move, and they had little resources, and they couldn't grow crops. And then soon disease, like the coronavirus, fell on them, and they all started dropping. And I think it wiped out about half of them. So since they were so terrified of death, some of them decided that it would be in their best interest to become skinwalkers.
So it was like ramping up.
Yeah, so skinwalkers, they can still live amongst the tribe during the day, but then at night they go live in the caves. So it said that a lot of them turned into the skinwalkers while they were out there to escape the god-awful living conditions.
Man, how much would that suck? Like having two homes. Like, say, like what if it was now? Like you forgot your iPad charger at your Navajo home and you're in the cave and your phone dies, you have nothing to do.
Is there outlets in those caves?
I would assume so if they're making
Oh yeah.
some sort of congregation.
I wouldn't be a
and living
skinwalker
quarters.
unless they had a subway.
That'd be cool.
To be honest.
Express service.
Yes.
Yeah.
That actually sounds so good right now.
It does.
Subway. Anyway,
Anyone want Subway? Oh wait, you're not eating today.
no, I can't.
I could use some Subway.
Yeah, it's Lent for Joffrey. He's a Catholic.
But the truth is, I'm drinking and I don't want to eat anything today.
Because it's too cheap to drink an extra bottle of beer.
Well, we make our own now, so you know.
We?
Not you.
I was talking about you too.
He makes his own alcohol.
Oh yeah,
He does?
Yeah, he makes wine and stuff.
it's easy.
Oh. I see.
It just takes so long. I hate wasting, like, drinking a ton of it, so I just don't eat before I drink. That's how we save money.
Saving money's the game.
Especially in the days of coronavirus. If I'm trapped in my house and I run out of it, I'm going to be pissed. 'Cause I want to party.
And make sure you don't let any of those toilet paper fools try and trade you it for the alcohol. Remember what we agreed to?
What?
You're just gonna use the alcohol to clean your butthole.
Oh, yeah. In front of them.
Like,
So just
Yeah,
like,
on that.
So they're like, please, I need my fix, and then you're just like, I have enough
sorry.
of it. Just pour
I
it
remember
on your
not being
ass.
able to buy toilet paper. I can just give them, like, I can cap bottles of water and give it to them.
I like that.
Okay, where were we with the skinwalkers?
Okay, yeah, so they got pushed out of their homeland. They all were becoming skinwalkers to escape the terrible living conditions. And then, eventually, I don't know how long after, I feel like it was 10 years, they eventually got their land back because the government ruled it like it was
Mean.
something like that.
It's mean.
Inhumane. And they had to move back. So it's believed then is when the huge spike in skinwalkers happened because they all moved back with them because they were
Oh.
so then after that in 1800s is when they were it just exploded with skinwalker activity. And one of the reasons why they don't say go to Indian burial grounds is skinwalkers because they like to hang out by
Oh, because they have to, like, dig up the
grounds.
bodies.
yeah
Oh, yeah.
so that
I
might
forgot that was...
that might be one of the reasons why you don't go to an Indian burial ground.
I have an unrelated question. What if there's no caves around?
Like, with
Yeah, like what if you're in the middle of the desert?
Like, where you... I guess some...
There's caves in the desert, but, like,
It depends what kind of desert.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like, would you have to dig and make your own, like an ant?
To make your own...
Like, your own cave system?
A skinwalker hill.
Yeah.
Just like a sand crab.
Oh, boy. Skinwalkers.
Skinwalkers. Oh, and then once they got back, it kind of turned into the Salem witch trials. So they started killing off people. Like, you're a skinwalker. Time to cut your fucking head off.
Okay.
Yeah. So they killed 40 of their own people as soon as they got back almost.
Wait, like, how
It
many
was just
were
like a
there?
witch hunt.
Yeah. What?
How many were there?
I don't know.
Oh.
I should have looked that up. Should have looked into that.
I got you.
All right.
They killed half of their people.
Yep. That would be rough. I already said how they don't believe in heaven. Oh yeah, with them, the other weird thing about death is their burial process is extremely short. And whenever someone dies, you're not supposed to look at the body. And if they die in a house unexpectedly, the house has to be torn down and burnt to the ground because it's believed to be a portal for evil to get into the tribe.
Just if it was out of nowhere.
Yeah, just because you died in the house. So that house is believed to be evil now. And if it looks like you're on your deathbed, like you're probably going to die, they would have to take you out into the woods and they'd put you somewhere really far away and just wait for you to die.
Wow.
Yeah, and no one could be near, like not even your family was allowed to be out there when you died. Because if you saw them when they died, that was like, you were fucked.
So that's like normal for the Navajo.
Yeah.
They just take their elderly way out and just leave them.
Pretty much. That's what it looks like. And also, if you cried, that's a sign of disrespect.
Seriously?
Yep. You weren't supposed to cry at all.
Hey, boys, kind of going back. I
Alright.
found in 1864 the Army forced around 9,000 Navajo men, women, and children to walk over 300 miles to Fort Sumner, New Mexico.
I bet a lot of them died though when
Oh,
they were
yeah.
out there.
Yeah.
Like half of them probably died.
Because like they were like didn't have any food or anything.
Is that what the Trail of Tears was?
Sorta, yeah.
Oh,
I don't
yeah.
think that's exactly what it was this part, but it's like the same idea.
So that's 40 out of 9,000. Just out of suspicion that they were skinwalkers.
Yeah. That's crazy.
And it says here that there was only like enough supplies to like 4,000 to 5,000 people,
Oh, nice.
like cattle and shit, like
So-
to eat.
So it's kind of like us trying to find food at the stores now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
It all ties in.
it does.
Hey.
I barely found any food today. I went to just get, some stuff in case the grid goes down. And I found like 5 cans of Chef Boyardee and like a little bit of ramen.
You said all the eggs were gone.
All the eggs were gone. There was this guy like just loading like 20 cartons into his cart. And really, are you gonna eat 20 cartons of eggs in a month? So then he sees me sitting there, and he kindly decides to leave me 2 cartons of eggs. I'm just standing there waiting for him to finish. He's just grabbing them all out. He looks at me, and then walks away.
Should've
And leaves
just, like,
2.
Shoved your way in and grabbed some more.
I should have.
before
I
you
should
got
have been
them.
more assertive, but I was just like, you know what, asshole, just do what you want.
Go ahead and try to eat all these eggs.
Yeah,
You're probably gonna die of eggs.
die of egg poisoning.
He's gonna eat them
Egg
so
poisoning.
fast. He's just gonna eat them raw and get salmonella.
Egg poisoning.
Oh yeah.
It's so stupid.
We'll probably have no way to cook them if the power goes out because he probably doesn't know.
He's probably an
How to-
islander.
Yeah, he's probably an islander. He doesn't know how to like,
Survive.
yeah, like cook them without an oven. So he'll probably just eat them raw. Then he'll get salmonella and coronavirus. Then he'll die.
That's a nasty mixture.
That would be rough. But yeah. Anyways, I got my carton of eggs.
Nice.
Your 1 carton.
What were we talking about?
I forget where we stopped.
Oh, we were talking about supplies for Navajo.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, because they didn't have enough
Yeah.
supplies. And then they started becoming skinwalkers. That's why I said maybe it's a good idea for us to become skinwalkers.
Yes, then we
We'll
won't
just
get the
all kill
virus.
each other.
Mhm.
Terry.
Wait, so are we all gonna fuck Terry's dead and live body?
Oh God.
Yeah, we
I
have
forgot
to.
about that.
We have
part.
to.
I forgot about that.
Do you want to live?
I guess.
Terry, I'm sorry. I know you're going to listen to this eventually. But,
He will.
I don't know, maybe.
the sacrifices you have to make?
This is what it
For
takes to
yourself.
survive.
Terry, I just want to let you know I love you.
I love you too, but
You know, things
Shit happens.
it's going to get spicy, Terry. And I'm sorry, but you're the meat the seasoning's going on this time.
yeah, Terry, survival of the fittest.
Survival of the fittest is exactly what it is. Us versus him.
I like our odds.
Yeah. 3-on-1 should work pretty well.
You'll be in heaven, and we'll be skinwalkers.
And
Yeah.
then we'll be in hell.
And
But
then-
we get to live longer.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll never meet you in heaven, right?
Now, if you're a skinwalker, there's
He's
no
not
way
going to
you-
want to see us anyway after that.
Oh yeah.
Well, I think
think
he
he-
should forgive us after a couple hundred years.
It's probably going to be like one hell of a grudge.
Yeah.
Well,
We're going to rape him.
Jesus
let-
taught
let
that
it-
you're supposed to forgive and forget no matter what. So
Even...
Even
We'll-
after
we'll
we
leave-
do all that to him,
We'll leave it up
you
to
know?
Terry, I guess.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I
are we
mean-
ready for Skinwalker stories? Or do you still have more info?
Oh yeah, we're good for skinwalker stories now.
Good for Skinwalker.
Now we're on to the stories, ladies.
Okay. Now we're on to the stories. I have one story I found on Mysterious Universe's website. There's a man and his father. They were driving through the desert, and they were near Window Rock, Arizona, which I don't know where in Arizona that is, but it's around where all the normal Skinwalker sightings are. And they drove up to a coyote sitting directly in the middle of the road. They slowed down so they wouldn't hit it, and he was just like staring at them. It's like sitting in the middle of the road staring at them, and it wouldn't move. So he honked his truck's horn, and it didn't flinch or anything. Like most animals, if they're in the middle of the road and they're normal, they would run. Like I've honked a deer before, and they take off.
Do you remember that one when we were going back to your house?
Yeah.
And you were blowing the horn. disappeared.
Almost ran into my car.
And it couldn't figure out where to go because there was like too much brush. So then it was just like sliding its hooves all over the ground. I felt bad.
Dude,
but it was...
that night we were fucking with you with the black-eyed children. Remember when the deer ran into my side of the car?
No.
You don't remember that? It ran into my side of the door. There's ones that passed in front of us, and then there
It
was
hit the
one that-
door?
Yeah,
Oh, I don't remember that.
yeah, it scared the shit out of me.
Sometimes you gotta blow the horn at them, though. You know.
Sometimes you just gotta blow a horn. Anyways, it continued staring at them after they blew the horn, and they drove around it because like it wasn't moving. They needed to get out, and they looked in the rearview mirror, and the coyote was running. This was after they like got back up to speed on the road, and it was running, keeping pace with their car. They're going like highway speeds, and out of nowhere, there was a naked man running beside their car. It was like, yeah, there was like keeping up with the car, and it was slapping the side of their car, like, and he had like this insane grin, and he was like keeping up with them naked, sprinting, slapping the side of their car, and then he just veered off after he screamed and just ran out into the darkness.
When did this happen? Like,
I didn't say when it happened. It was like more modern.
I'd
It was like trucks. And stuff.
I'd have a hard time not laughing.
I don't know. Reading the stories, yeah, but like if I saw that,
True. I'm sure it'd be a lot more terrifying in real life.
especially if you knew it was a skinwalker, like the thing
Oh,
was just a
yeah.
coyote, now it's a naked guy.
Yeah. I wonder if it was young or old.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's a good question. That would help
His
us figure
nuts
out.
were like
if
hitting his
they-
legs. What are you wrong?
Clacking.
It's like those snake eggs you can get when you're little, like the two magnets that smack together.
Oh yeah.
From the same website, Mysterious Universe, which is a podcast I listen to a lot. It has a bunch of stuff about this. It's really good. Check it out. We're not sponsored
I
by
like
them, but
Yeah.
it'd be cool if we were.
I'll sponsor them for free.
But this one is a boy and his friends were exploring Spanish ruins in New Mexico, which I'm guessing is from like when the Spanish were trying to conquer back in the day. But they were on their way to Bandelier National Monument, which I don't know if that's in New Mexico. I didn't research that either. So that's my bad. But they were in the ruins and they heard this like blood curdling scream resonate through all like the stone ruins, and they're like, what the fuck was that? And then he said they got out of there as fast as they could, and they got back on the road and they got to Bandelier around 7 a.m. So this is at night when it happened, which makes
God.
it more terrifying.
Yeah.
And they set up camp somewhere along the road, I guess, or at some campsite. And he went to go to the bathroom, or what he said was 300 feet away from the camp. And when he turned around to go back, he saw his two friends motioning it for him to follow them, but they weren't talking or anything. They were just like motioning him, which I don't know if I would trust either of you guys if you were just doing that. But that's probably just because I thought you were going to do something to me.
Yeah.
But he started following them, and he said it felt like he was being pulled behind them like a magnet, like he had no choice. And which is something they do, like they can control your mind.
Oh.
I think if you make eye contact with them,
Yeah.
they can, like get inside your head. But he said he followed them for like 15 minutes, and he snapped out of it. And then he was like, "Wait, like what's going on? Like this is not normal." He was just following them through the dark for 15 minutes. He said when he saw they weren't following him, they looked at him like they looked at him like they were gonna kill him, and they said they had bright red hair, which I don't know if that's like something that I don't think that's consistent with skinwalkers.
Yeah.
But they said he had his friends' faces and cat eyes, but his
well,
actual friends had brown hair. So I don't know why they did it different.
well, maybe it didn't morph completely. Like I'm sure that maybe happens because there's always something off.
Yeah, that's.
So
I know red eyes or something, right? Is it red eyes
red eyes. No.
or red fur? I heard something about red with skinwalkers.
I don't know. Yeah, but the cat eyes would definitely be Skinwalker.
Yeah. But he said they were standing there staring at him with a horrifying look on their faces, like, I guess, something just, like, completely unnatural. And he turned and ran away as fast as he could, and he found his way back to his camp, and everyone was still there, like, sitting around the camp like nothing had happened. And he said when they told him what happened, when he told them what happened, they left as fast as they could. And that's all that was in that story.
Wow. Wait, I wonder if his friends made eye contact with
Ooh.
something while they were at the campfire, and then
Yeah,
it
but then
stole
wouldn't
them.
they have said like, yeah, we saw something weird too?
Yeah, but maybe they
maybe
just saw
that's
like
why they're
eyes. They thought like they saw deer, and they
Yeah.
thought like, oh,
maybe that's why their hair was off. If they did make eye contact with them, it means they couldn't get their form like completely.
yeah.
Like just glancing at it or something.
Like they saw the kids and they're like they saw him branch off, so they're like, we can just look like his friends, but their hair was still off and their eyes. I don't know.
That's freaky.
But my next story is on Skinwalker Ranch, and I know you have a ton of notes about it,
Yeah.
so I'll let you take the background of Skinwalker Ranch first, and I'll do
Okay.
my story after that.
So, I found some stuff on historychannel.com. This guy named Terry Sherman and his family bought like what's called the Skinwalker Ranch, which is like in Utah.
Can I interrupt you 1 second?
Yeah.
If anybody reads about the Shermans on Skinwalker Ranch, before they came out, their names were hidden. They used a different name as Gorman. So if you ever see Gorman and Sherman, they're the same people.
Okay. He does not have the coronavirus. He's just
He might.
deathly ill.
We don't know if he does.
But anyway. So I mean, this isn't in like Arizona or New Mexico or anything, but it's still in Utah. And they bought it in 1994, and they only lived there for like 18 months, and then they left because like shit got so crazy, and like it wasn't just skinwalkers they saw there. Like it was a bunch of weird shit. Like they saw like mysterious crop circles, UFOs, and like their livestock would be like mutilated, but there's no blood or guts, like what you'd usually see.
It feels like a normal animal attack or
Yeah,
something.
yeah.
There'd be blood everywhere.
Mm-hmm. And this guy named Robert Bigelow bought the ranch after they left for like $200,000 to like research and shit on it. But so it's in what's called the Uniton Basin, and 3/4 of the people who have been there like see something weird or like something wonky, and like that's where the Navajo were too, so it wasn't just like in the southern
I heard
states.
Skinwalkers is the place they abandoned. Well, Skinwalker Ranch around that area is where the Navajo abandoned
Yeah.
because of skinwalkers.
Wait, so Skinwalker Ranch is where the Navajo used to live, basically.
I think, from what I heard, Skinwalker Ranch seems more like
shit.
like alien and UFO stuff happening.
Yeah.
than-
The first story I have is more like Skinwalker than anything.
I have a question. What if after they came back, whenever there was a whole bunch of the Skinwalkers amongst them, apparently, what if aliens were watching us at that time, kind of, and they wanted to learn more about why people were becoming like witches and like how they're becoming witches, and that's why they started,
Coming down.
investigating that area.
I want to let Ben keep talking. I'm going to look something up. I heard something about it being electromagnetic too. Like there's some lines that run through there.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. Let me look it up real quick when you go.
But so like the owners before them, like no one. I mean, I guess they know, like the bank knows, but like no one like knows who they were before they left, and the people who owned it before, they left in 1987. So it took them like 9 years, or no, not 9, 7 years to sell the property because like, I guess they're just so fucked. But like whenever they're moving in, like they noticed like there's like these massive chains, like outside to keep like what looked like pretty big guard dogs to like fend off the house, so nothing would get in there. And like while they were moving in, they saw this wolf, like it was approaching from some field like off in the distance, and they said that it was about 3 times the size of a regular wolf, and like he said it was about as tall as Terry, like Terry Sherman, and like it wasn't regular, like it walked right up to him and was just letting them pet it.
Yeah, I was gonna say they were petting it and everything, weren't they?
Yeah, the whole family was like just petting this massive wolf that just came out of nowhere.
The thing that concerns me is why were they like, hey kids, let's pet
Yeah.
let's pet this ginormous wolf.
Maybe something was in their heads. I don't know.
Oh yeah,
Sounds funny.
manipulated kind of.
But anyway, so like Terry, he was really well known for like raising cattle and like selling them and like stuff like that.
It was like high end cattle too. Like
yeah, like they
you
were
can get like
really nice.
$10,000 for like a bull.
Yeah, and like the wolf saw where his pasture or one of his pastures was for his cattle, and he went up to it because there was this like calf like sticking its head to like the barbed wire fence or whatever, and it said that the wolf went over and ripped its head clean like through the fence, and Terry hit it like he started punching it, and he hit it with an axe, kicked it, and eventually like he told his son to go get his 357 Magnum off the dash of his truck, shot it, and the wolf didn't even flinch. He shot it 3 times, and it didn't even do anything.
Yeah, the one thing about the Skinwalkers too is you can't kill them unless the bullet's blessed by a priest or something like that.
Like
Would
a
it have to be like a
shaman or something.
Navajo priest
or a
though?
shaman. Yeah.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be like
Like a
one of
church.
their priests.
And like after like this wolf still had this like calf's head in its mouth, and then eventually it just stopped, ran away, and like it ran off, but like not where it wouldn't be out of sight, and it was just watched the family, and he fired another shot at it again, like he watched a piece of the flesh like fly off, and it didn't do anything, and it just went away.
I heard that after 357, he had a hunting rifle in his
Yeah.
truck they went
Yeah,
after
yeah,
it with, too.
I think he shot.
It's like a 30-06 or something.
Yeah,
Jesus.
yeah. And so like a little bit after this wolf went away, his son and him followed the wolf like the trail of blood that was like coming off it when he shot it, and they came to a creek and it was like surrounded by mud, like it was super flat, and like the paw prints just ended in the middle of the creek, like it wasn't in the creek, it was on like the muddy bank.
It was like too far to jump into the creek, too, right?
No, it was like past the creek, like it was between two like trickles of water.
Oh. So like so like the stream split,
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
they saw the paw prints out of the creek in the middle.
Yeah.
And then they just stopped.
Yeah, they were just going.
They weren't on the other side or anything.
Mm-hmm.
So it could have walked down in. Oh no! I guess I would have seen it turn into the creek too.
Yeah. It makes sense if it walked down through the creek.
Yeah.
But
They just stopped altogether.
yeah, and like so they went around looking for it a little bit, like I think I said they looked like 40 yards like radius around it, just trying to find it, and it said on their way back Terry found the piece of flesh he shot off, but like I think it said they searched for about a half hour, and this thing was already rotten.
Yeah, I was gonna say, didn't it like stink like sulfur too?
Yeah.
Like it smelled awful.
Yeah.
Like it was just like rotting.
Ew.
Piece of flesh. It was, like right after they shot it.
Like within like an hour, is that what you said?
They were going for a half hour. And this thing was already
Was it
rotten.
like super hot out or something, or?
I mean, it was in Utah. I don't know how I guess.
Yeah,
so.
but still, if it smelled, we don't think it smelled that bad that quick.
No. People hunt in the summer all the time.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Stuff's crazy.
Strange.
People see UFOs over that place all the time too.
Oh yeah, there's like half the stuff I have here is just about UFOs, and
Oh.
not even just UFOs, like just weird shit.
I'll let you go with it more.
All right, it said like in the next like weeks, like not too long after that, like his wife Gwen, she'd come home and like she came home with groceries, and she put them all away, and then she like left to go do something, came back, all of them, like it was like she didn't even pack them, or like put them away, like they were all back in the bags where they were.
So that's like poltergeist activity.
Yeah, yeah.
Ew.
Like
I
it's
don't
like it's like
that.
everything paranormal happens on that range.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And it said that she'd also like whenever she go like take a shower, she'd take a towel and like a hair dryer and a brush and shit, and like she'd lock the door behind her, and all her stuff would be missing when she got out, and like she'd go looking for it and she couldn't find it anywhere, and then like the next day it'd be like just somewhere like totally random.
I also heard that there was like locks everywhere.
Oh
There's
yeah.
like locks on the insides of cabinets and stuff. Like you could like so you could like lock yourself in.
What?
Like there's locks on like both sides of the doors and everything. It was really weird.
Yeah.
Like but then
Like so stuff couldn't get to you, kind of.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like they were trying to hide. I guess that was from like the Shermans, right? When the first people who bought it.
No
Or
one
those
knows who the
pe-
first people
Those
were.
are the people. Shermans are the who found the locks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I've kind of forgot to mention this earlier too, but like in the contract they signed with the previous owners, they like it was written down that they had to ask like the last owners if they could dig anywhere
Oh,
on the
yeah.
property.
So they reserved like the property rights to their, kind of. They reserved the right to dig on their property.
Yeah, like they had to ask for permission,
That
and like
is
they had to say
strange.
yes or no.
Yeah.
But they didn't know who the previous owners were.
Well, I think they knew, but like
Oh, they didn't like it bring it to the public.
yeah, but and it says like a week after that, Terry was using a post digger, and he turned around, and it was just gone, and it said like it weighed like 70 pounds.
Yeah, those things are heavy.
Yeah, and he went to his family and like he was like getting all pissed off, like he just thought someone was messing with him, like no one knew where it was, and so they went out for like a couple hours and searched for this thing, and I think it said a couple weeks later, they found it hanging in a 75-foot tree off the ground.
No,
Like someone hoisted this 70-pound like post digger.
What? Oh.
did you hear the story about like the pile of metal he asked his sons to move?
No.
He asked his son and his friend, I think it was, to move this giant metal of like rods or like some metal
Like
like
scrap?
steel beams or something, and it was like they moved it to where he wanted to move it, and it took them hours. Like, and he got back, and when he got back, it was right back where it was, the whole pile. It was like a couple feet away from where it was originally. So like they took hours to move this huge pile of metal, because like it wasn't close. If he wanted them to move it close to where it was already, they wouldn't have moved it at all.
Yeah.
So it was like I forget the distance, but it was a good distance away. And when he got home, it was right back where it started. And they have no idea how like all that metal got back, because it would have taken hours to move it back too.
Yeah. Shock factor.
Shock.
Because they're just like, let's fuck with them.
This next one's like really weird. It said like this is while he was still looking for his post digger. Like it took them weeks to find it. But in the meantime, his nephew came like to the ranch, and for some reason Terry and his son took him like around at night to show him the ranch.
Mhm.
And so they were just walking down the driveway, and like it looked like headlights were coming up like the drive, like maybe just someone turned off.
Mm-hmm.
But like he thought like maybe they're also hunters, because that wasn't like the first time anyone saw anything there. And so like he started running at it like to confront them,
Mm-hmm.
and it just said it went straight up and
It
just
went
flew
over.
away.
Didn't it go over a fence first? I think it might have been a different story.
I don't know, I didn't hear that, but
I
it
heard-
might have been.
I heard it might have been a different story. But
Mhm.
did you hear about the UFOs? They said it was like the size of several football fields. That's how big this UFO was that they saw over the ranch.
Jesus, really?
Yeah, and then said one was like small and boxy, and another one was like 40 feet around that size. So like they saw all kinds of like different size UFOs just like hovering over the ranch. They see lights flying around all the time.
Yeah, like it says like every night it was always something new.
Like people call the ranch UFO Alley.
Yeah.
Because of how many UFOs they see. It's insane.
Could you imagine seeing a UFO that big? Like, it just takes up the whole entire sky.
A foot like it looked like the Phoenix Lights.
Yeah.
It's,
Oh, you mean like it was a bunch of separate lights spanning like the length
Well,
of the football field?
they didn't. I
Two
didn't.
football fields?
They didn't
like
really.
the width.
They didn't really explain it. But a lot of the sightings where they see multiple lights,
Yeah.
like they'll see a triangle of lights, like really far apart, like hundreds of yards. But everything between those is just black, like it's blocking the stars, like lights from the stars out.
Oh.
So it's like it's that big.
Yeah. Well, there was kind of like, you know how that one light that I saw on that way back on my way back from the gym the one time was literally like just a long football field of lights, like a big line in the sky.
I didn't know it was that big.
Yeah, it was huge,
Jesus.
dude. It was like the size of what the width of like what two 747s would be.
Shit.
Anyways,
I have another light story.
All right.
There's a Battle Hollow. It's not on Skinwalker Ranch. It's like right around it. It's a 420-acre man-made reservoir, so it's like a huge body of water. And in 1998, a police officer saw a huge white light dive into the reservoir, and it came back out and flew off into the sky. And another night in 2002, 4 guys saw a bluish white light go into the reservoir, and it apparently dove into the water, came back out seconds later in the form of a shimmering maneuverable belt-shaped shaft of light. And then it flew away at like an insane amount of speed. And according to Ute belief, some springs and waterways were like reservoirs of negative power, and evil spirits would come out of the water and drag you back in. Like, I don't know. I don't know if that's connected.
Yeah. It sounds funny at the same time, but also terrifying.
Like, it sounds funny to talk about, but if you got dragged into the water by something,
Yeah.
you'd like
I would not appreciate
have
that.
a heart attack. I heard. Did you have the story about the guy who came to meditate?
On the ranch?
Yeah.
No.
Okay. After Skinwalker Ranch was out in the public, there was this guy that wanted to come meditate on the land,
Uh-huh.
and like, I guess like, Terry Sherman, is that his name?
Yeah.
I guess he was just like sick of people asking, so he was like, "Fine, I will drive you out, and you can meditate." And this guy went out into the field, and while Terry was back at his truck, he was just watching the guy. He was like sitting in the middle of a field meditating, and he saw this thing in the trees, like along the tree line. Do you know the movie Predator?
Yeah.
Where
Yeah.
it's like kind of camouflage, it's like kind of clearish.
Oh, I read about this, I think.
Yeah, he saw something like that moving through the trees, and then he saw it like bolt towards the guy into the field, and it just stopped in front of him, and like the guy didn't know it yet because he had his like eyes closed and was like
Yeah, he's like,
meditating. It didn't make any noise. No, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, whatever the fuck he was doing.
Yeah,
But
but he said, out of nowhere, it was like a lion roar, but like 10 times louder than a lion's roar, like right in his face. And the guy like panicked and just like screamed and like, came bolting back to the truck. And he like jumped onto Terry and was like begging him to get off the ranch. And he's like, apparently he threatened to punch him. And like
Wait, the guy meditating threatened to
Terry
punch him?
threatened to punch the guy because he wouldn't get off him.
Oh.
Like begging him to get
Yeah.
him out. And he said, "If you take me out, I will get off of you." And like, but apparently there's other stories of weird things happening when people meditate.
Uh-huh.
So like they think the meditating might trigger some of that.
because you're contacting the dead when you meditate.
No, you're
Well,
not really
like-
you're just like in your own head. I don't know if that has something to do with it.
Oh.
Maybe like kind of pisses them off. Like you're kind of
You're being spiritual.
yeah on their land.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, that would make sense.
but like that's. What else do you have?
I have a bunch of like I have some more alien stuff, but like they're like seeing portals and shit. Like
Mhm.
this one night, it said he was cleaning his gun, and he like saw this like red thing out in the sky, and he took the scope like it was off his gun,
Mhm.
and he just started looking at it like a pair of binoculars, and it was nighttime, and he's looking through this like orange ring, and it was like super blue, like it was like daytime.
So that I heard that people think that might have been like interdimensional.
Yeah.
Like if we're just like a fraction of away, like fraction of, I don't know, any space away from another dimension, that could have been like a rip in it. You could be seeing that other dimension.
Yeah. And like there's more stuff about him finding like mutilated calves and cows like all over the ranch, but like he'd never found any blood or guts or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
And it said this one night he was looking for one of his calves. Like it was in the winter, and one of his calves like went astray from the rest of the like thing of cows. And he went in the woods and he couldn't find it. And like, he followed the prints out into an opening, and then they just disappeared in the middle of it. So he turns around and he starts going home, and like it said they would. Oh wait, no. He saw a UFO above the property, like shining beams down onto the land, about the size of an F-117, and when he was just sitting there staring at it for like 6 minutes, or no, might not have been that long. I think it said 30 seconds, but he moved his arm because like his arms were getting tired, and he went like this and just cracked his arm, and it said it to him, it was super loud, like really like it was, like really
Like it echoed. Like
well, no, it didn't even echo. Like, as far as that thing away, like it was away from him, it would have been anything, but it, like immediately just went away.
Oh, so like the thing heard the crack.
Yeah,
Ew.
That's freaky.
It wouldn't have heard him walking though. That's so weird.
I
I guess if he was in the snow.
Well, I think he was riding a horse.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah.
So whatever was in the sky heard the crack of his arm. And like,
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Imagine cracking your fingers and just hearing
That's what
like the
I thought.
echoing, like you said though.
I
that
thought
would-
he was getting at the Oz effect.
That's almost
That's-
freakier. I hate the Oz effect. I just hate the whole thought of that. No.
Do you know what the Oz effect is?
No.
When you're like in the woods and something happens like paranormal, it has something. It goes back to our other episode of Missing 411. So everything gets quiet. Like there's no bugs, no wind, no leaves or anything, and all you hear is like your own breathing.
That's fucking.
You can't hear your
weird.
screaming.
I thought
either,
that's
don't
what you
think.
were getting at in that. That's
Dude, that's weird.
The Oz effect would literally be one of the most terrifying things that could happen to you, I think.
yeah.
Like,
Worse than getting dragged into the water.
it's close.
I'd
yeah,
rather
close.
I'd rather at least be somewhere where I know what's going on
Yeah.
than like
In the
not being
water.
able to hear myself.
But a lot of those
scream.
people
Oh.
who, whenever they like they don't hear any sound, they disappear after that. Whoa, a lot. It's theorized a lot of them do because the ones who survive are the ones that are like, this happened to me.
And a lot of them survive. Also, like lose a lot of their memories about being there. Like it's all foggy.
Yeah.
But
Jordy, no, like,
I'll let.
All right, and then my last story, like they'd see a fuck ton of orbs just like floating around, and it said that like orbs would zip around like through trees and like brush on the ranch, and the blue ones would like it instill fear to anyone like who's too close to it. And one time he saw it, and it started coming towards him, so he let his guard. There's 3 guard dogs, and he let him take off after it, and like it just got all quiet, and like they all started barking, and they got quiet, and then all 3 of them like let out these like crazy loud yelps, and like they never came back. So we kind of figured like, okay, maybe something happened to him, but he went to bed instead.
I think he was like too scared, wasn't
Oh
he?
yeah, I would.
Like he was too terrified to go out.
Yeah.
Like I love my dog, but I'm not going out there for that. It said the next morning, he found their melted flesh like on the ground.
Ew.
Yeah.
Like it zapped him.
I don't know. I was kind of thinking like the same thing with the wolf, like how like its skin or its flesh was melted whenever they found it, or not melted, but like rotted.
Mm.
Like
oh, what if it melts super quick once something happens to it?
I don't know. But I'm gonna go take a piss.
Okay.
Well, I have one more story too.
All right, so do I.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, but it's not on Skinwalker Ranch. It's just a Skinwalker story from Reddit.
Okay.
Pretty freaky. But
You
yeah.
wanna go first?
Sure.
Okay.
All right. So this story comes from Reddit, and it's about a son and his father. I guess they had a delivery truck business, and they were following other delivery trucks, or no, the other delivery trucks were following them, so they were in like a convoy for this order. And the story starts out like this. I'm gonna read it in third person, or first person, third person, first person. I don't know. What was that?
I don't know. Something just happened in the bathroom.
It sounded like Ben fell. It sounded like a roar. No, we heard something though. Okay, so here's the story that I found on Reddit. We're somewhere on the highway between Widow Rock and Gallup, New Mexico. It had rained earlier that day, and on the road was kind of slick, so we were trying to take it pretty slow. On the left side of the highway, there is nothing but sandstone cliffs, and on the right, there's a huge field separated from the road by a small barbed wire fence. We crest the top of the hill, and down at the bottom of the hill, we see what appears to be a very large dog. Again, kind of like the other story.
Mhm.
Sitting back on its haunches in the middle of the road,
I think doesn't it just mean like sitting up back on its back legs
or sitting on its buttocks.
or something? Yeah,
Butt
whatever,
cheeks.
something like that.
Yeah.
Crisscross applesauce.
Crisscross applesauce. The dog is just sitting crisscross applesauce on the highway. And it's facing the cliffs. And my dad calls over the radio, "Hey Trev, you see that big ass dog?" And Travis starts yelling back over the radio, "That is not a dog. Speed up right now and hit it." And he sounds hysterical. He just keeps screaming, "Hit it! You have to hit it, please! Please! Hit that fucking thing right now!" So my dad starts to speed up as we get a bit closer. I begin to see it a little bit more clearly. It's covered in this brown matted hair and appears to have dried blood all over it. It's still facing the cliffs, but at the
Wait,
moment...
like that dog from that Stephen King movie?
Cujo?
Yeah. Like
I
that?
never actually saw that movie. I don't know.
Yeah, but our headlights hit it, and it turns and it has a face. I don't know what else to describe it other than a mix between a bear and a human. It looks kind of like distorted and almost in pain. As we get closer to this thing, we start to realize it's actually fucking huge. Though it was still sitting on its haunches, it is about a shoulder height width of the hood of the truck. We literally get inches from hitting it, and it lets out a scream that sounds like someone screaming as their lungs are filling with water as it leaps backwards through the field.
What the fuck?
It's like a.
It says it lands on the other side of the barbed wire fence. Then with another leap, it is gone from sight. Travis is coming over the radio. Holy shit, keep driving, man. We had to get out of here. We have to go faster. He kept repeating the last part. We have to get out of here. We have to go faster. We have to get out of here, man. And we have to go faster. And then eventually my dad said, shut the fuck up. I'm just kidding. I added that part in.
Wait, did this actually happen like to your dad? Or is this just
No,
a
I'm
story you found on the
I'm
internet?
telling this from Reddit.
Oh, okay.
It's like a first person.
Yeah.
story.
Okay.
Pretty soon, we speeding like crazy, and just as we start to come up to the outskirts of Gallup, we get pulled over. Travis pulls his truck over with us. Naturally, this makes the cop, a Navajo man himself, very on edge and immediately asks why Trevor felt the need to pull over. Travis says, "We just saw a skinwalker a few miles back, man." The officer turns white, stammers something about a verbal warning, gets in the car and takes off. We do the same. We didn't see anything else that night, but when we got home, Travis refused to let us leave without taking some kind of Navajo totem thing that was supposed to keep it away. And that was thanks to Reddit. I don't know who wrote it, but thank you.
Nice. So that's Skinwalkers, eh?
Yep. Did you have one more story?
Yeah, I thought you said you had one.
Oh yeah. Yeah. That was about the ranch. Thank you. I forgot.
Tell it.
Tell it.
Tell it. Spill it.
Okay. It was about one of the portals.
Okay.
There's these. After Rob Bigelow bought the ranch, he brought NIDS. It's some kind of research, like team.
Mm-hmm.
They're like it's actual scientists. It's not like paranormal investigators. Like I just saw a ghost. Like Ghost Adventures. But they were like there's these two scientists and I forget their names. They're obviously fake names. Like they didn't want to be named because they would be mocked in the science community. But they were out in the middle of a field with binoculars one night and they saw this orange light out in the distance. So one scientist used they only had one pair, so like only one could see what it actually was. And they said it started getting bigger and bigger, like this portal or whatever you want to call it, this light. And they saw this black figure of a man inside of it. Like it was this big orange light with a black thing standing inside. And it said it pulled itself out.
Ugh, like it was stepping through.
Yeah, they said it like grabbed like the edges of it and like pulled itself out. And then it just walked away into the darkness.
Wait.
Yeah.
How high was this thing off the ground? I'm imagining this thing in the sky too.
No. They said it was like a couple feet off the ground.
Oh, okay.
No, this guy like got out of the portal. It didn't have a face or anything. No like features
Was
that
it
they
just
saw.
like a black
It was like
figure?
the black shadow,
Yeah.
and it like pulled itself out.
Like the stick figure guy on a caution wet floor sign.
Maybe something like that. But then they said it like ran away out in the darkness and the light closed. That's all I knew.
Wow. It's like a shadow person.
Those are
Dude,
terrifying.
Fuck that.
You didn't have to bring that back into my head.
Yeah, how's that feel? Payback for the black-eyed children. Now I gotta think about that.
Yep.
Yeah. I hate black-eyed children. Black-eyed children is what I said.
Okay. We're glad you cleared that up because I don't know what else you thought.
No,
Yeah.
no, I was just making sure. I said it right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, this was episode 2. It went way better than the true episode 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
About the fucking calm you bastards.
Yeah, we'll probably stick to paranormal stuff and not.
Yeah. We were trying to do paranormal and history.
Yeah.
History did not go.
Maybe
so
we'll
well.
do
maybe-
certain history if it ties into something paranormal, like certain things with World War II with the Foo Fighters.
Yeah, that stuff's
Yeah.
cool.
Or maybe if we just all research it so Joffrey isn't the only one talking.
I don't know. Maybe.
That could help. Because I started to realize I don't know anything about this and I can't ask questions, and I was just like, I'll look up stuff.
Well, anyways. Thanks for listening. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks.